Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burns Reviews, and today we are talking about the superhero movie Archenemy. When Max Fisk claims to be a hero from another dimension who fell through time and space to Earth, nobody believes his story except for one young teen reporter who goes by the name of Hamster. He has a sister named Indigo, who seems to be a lower tier drug dealer who works for a bigger drug dealer, who again has a boss of their own. Things get complicated when all these universes and characters seem to converge, and Max and Hamster have to fight the crime syndicate that seems to haunt their city. Special thanks to RLJE Films, who sent me an early screener. I just did a screener for them, The Dark and the Wicked, which I thought was one of the best, most unsettling horror movies of 2020. I got a review for it right here, as well as an ending explained. So be sure to check that out down below, and without any further ado, let's talk about Archenemy. You got Joe Manganiello, who plays, unlike Deathstroke, a homeless guy who drinks a little bit of whiskey, and he's not the most reliable. You know, you have to ask yourself, is he just delusional? Is he paranoid? Does he really have superpowers? That's a big question in the movie, and I don't want to spoil it, but I will say this much. This movie's a lot of fun. There's a lot of action to it. There's a lot of stuff that goes down, where characters are just kind of being blown away, and you don't know what's coming around the corner. It's stylistic, and if you're a little bit tired like I am of all these over-the-top, polished superhero movies that have come out in the past 20 years, this might be right down your alley. Let's start with the positives. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoy a puzzle box. I enjoy a mystery of not knowing what is going on. And if you put good actors with good visuals and good writing, you have yourself a slam dunk. I think this movie is very engrossing in that way. You know, Joe Manganiello, fun fact, Nicolas Cage was going to be the original character to play Max Fisk, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out that way. And I think it's even better for that reason. We already got Nicolas Cage and Kick-Ass as Big Daddy. And let's face it, if that happened, it probably would have gone straight to Redbox and nobody would have watched it. I think this movie's a lot of fun. I think it bends time and space a little bit and makes you think a little bit. It's not spoon-feeding you. I was watching an interview with a director who wrote the film, Adam Egypt Mortimer, and he talks about how he was inspired by Pink Floyd's The Wall. That also had bright colors and visuals, and also didn't pander. It didn't spoon-feed the audience. It didn't let them think that, oh, okay, this is exactly what it is, and then the movie ends. It makes you think a little bit. It makes you wonder, is that real? Is that fake? Is this guy just a drunk? What's going on? And I think it walks a line where you could probably have it be one way or the other. Or even a third way. I think there's multiple ways of viewing this movie. I watched it twice, and I found a lot more the second time around than I did the first time, because I started paying attention to different elements that usually would have been swept up underneath the rug. So I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really engrossing in the storytelling. And again, I know I'm speaking a little vague because I don't want to give anything away. I think the acting is great from Joe Manganiello. You got Glenn Howerton over there from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's wearing his little short shorts. He's like the bad guy, but he's like an over-the-top 70s type character. The acting is just, it's pretty solid. I like that it's like part action, part sci-fi, part drama, all in one. And it's a smaller movie, it's a smaller budget, and I just really enjoyed it. I really wanted more. I'm very curious what they would have done if they had a bigger budget, because they do have these really amazing looking animations. And I imagine if this movie had a budget of, say, $200 million, they would have shown those scenes in live action. And maybe it would have been good, but more than likely, it would have been kind of trashy looking and awful. You know, we really don't see movies like this anymore, you know, because I guess they're not glossy enough. But much like Pink Floyd's The Wall, it allows for a lot of things that smaller movies can possibly do with more creative control than, say, bigger movies that are more controlled by the studio. So, those are my positives. Stunning to look at, solid acting, solid writing. As far as the negatives, this movie's a little dark. And I don't mean in tone, I don't think it's that dark. I think it's kind of light in a lot of ways. I think it's dark in cinematography. There are certain shots in this movie, especially the battle scenes, that I want to see more of what was going on. You know, you want to put things in shadows, I get it, but sometimes I just want them to put like a fill light right on the side so we can see a little bit more of what's going on. And again, this is a nitpick. This is not really a thing that really hinders the movie. It's just something that I wish they could have tweaked to make it a little bit better. As far as the narrative and the story, I like it. It's not the most original storyline I've ever seen, but it does take something that we've recognized, say like in Kick-Ass or Hancock in particular, and it does something a little bit different. It's not a pure copy-paste. It has a starting point, and then it just goes its own fun direction. It's cool, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. I love watching Joe Manganiello take on a car. He literally takes on a muscle car that rams him like a bull, and he just gets back up and he rips the spoiler off the back of the car and he just bangs it into the windshield. It's great. If you like your superhero, your anti-hero to be a little dirty around the edges and a lot of fun, I think you're really gonna like Archenemy. The only thing I don't really love about this movie is that sometimes it feels a little elusive to the audience. It feels a little bit like we don't get enough. I wanted it to go deeper. I wanted more. I wanted it to be fleshed out a little bit more. I understand they wanted to make it more ambiguous and mysterious, and hey, you know, sometimes life can be that way. You don't get all the answers in a nice little bow. Not that I wanted things to be fleshed out too much, but I guess I want to see, when they do like the flashbacks with the cartoons, I wanted them to do a little bit more of like the people that were there. I wanted to see some, like maybe like a third or fourth character outside of Cleo and Max. I want to see like a couple other people interacting with them, because it seems very much like a wishy-washy, unreliable type of past, which I get, but I wanted a little bit more done in those animations. They're beautiful, they look great. They just seem very small in scope as far as storytelling. You know, we don't meet anybody that he knew on his home planet, which maybe is because that's the way they want to portray it. They don't want to portray outside characters, but you gotta imagine that there was more going on. So I guess that would be my one complaint about this movie. I wanted more of an origin. I wanted more depth to Max Fist. I wanted a little bit more than vagueness. And I get it. He's a drunk. Maybe he doesn't remember everything. He kind of alludes to that along the way, that he doesn't remember everything. But as a comic book superhero lover, I wanted a little bit more. Anyway guys, what did you think of Archenemy? Be sure to comment down below in the comments. If you're new to the channel and you like videos just like this, be sure to ring that bell. Comment down below. I'd love to talk to you in the chat about what you think. I've been John, you've been Burned. Thank you so much for watching. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers, so be sure to comment down below, and I will see you next time.
Bye.